You were hoping and waiting patiently, but the spring market is not forming. It is already formed. It takes months. It takes the winter push in order to accumulate the stamina for the spring market to actually boom. And just to add that the spring market won't be late this year. Many anticipated in 2023, 2024, and 2025 that the spring market kind of lacked in the beginning, but it will come late, or it will bloom in summer months, right? So I believe that this is completely off, and that people will be surprised with the numbers that will be completely offset with the new listings come online, with people that have waited for years and they have been trying with ludicrous numbers to sell their properties, but now they're pinned to the wall. Also, I would like to add that the biggest mortgage renewal bucket in Canada is about to renew. And most people say, well, that's not a big deal. Maybe it's a couple of $100, maybe it's $1,000 more on their mortgage bill. But if you add everything together, everything that has been happening lately, this is not only an increase on one bill. All the bills will be increased, which can create that uncertainty or that scary feeling that people cannot provide for their monthly bills and the cash flow is low. So I have a couple of points and I would like to get into it together with you guys. So the momentum precedes seasonality, which means that spring amplifies existing demand. This is very, very important. And we're not counting, the listing count. I know that all the realtors out there, they're like, oh my gosh, I have $10 million of listings. I acquired X, Y, and Z amount of listings. So what? How many did you sell? At what price? How many people are under? How many people are bidding heavy? What's the uptick demand in buyers? What's the new list price? I spoke to another fellow of mine, another colleague, and he has listed a condo apartment, like a townhouse kind of condo. At one point, that listing was listed at 875, went to 825. They're listing it in 2026 for 699. So it just goes to show you that even Oakville is breaking, and that everything it's demanding a different price and mentality. So let's move on. Sales are not accelerating. Without acceleration in February, March, April, it will not explode moving further. One of the big strategies for the big boys in real estate was they hit the market on January 1st of every single year, and by the time the rest wakes up, January, February, and March, they already accumulated sales. They already got their feed, the pulse on the market and everything else. So they were ahead of the game. This time around is completely different. Inventory is building quietly. Aging listings matter more than the new listings, and that is true. So if you go back in the history, you'll see that some of these properties have been listed multiple times, even years on end, before they either sold or got terminated. So buyer psychology shifted. So from 2021, it's the FOMO, fear of missing out, to 2026, overpaying fear. And this is simply explained because if they buy today, the chances are highly that the price will feather down even more. And people, when they say, well, you shouldn't care because you're buying a home. Well, you should care because you're paying. And whether you're paying cash or mortgage, it doesn't matter because you still have to pay. That's the bottom line. Nobody likes to overpay, regardless if it's your matrimonial home or if it's an investment. Renewals limit aggression. Cash flow tightening reduces speculation. and it is well known all across the market. Investors are gone. On top of that, the investors that were fleeing to Canada are basically gone or quiet or both, right? This isn't panic, it's hesitation, the worse for momentum. And it is true, right? Because I talked about it in my other videos. When you have something that falls off cliff, you know exactly where it landed. If it's a hard crash, 10%, 20%, 30%, you kind of feel the bottom and you kind of can calculate the further trajectory. In this case, when you're bleeding slowly for a long period of time, for months upon months, it creates hesitation and creates different type of panic. So what decided means? So what it means at this point, it is becoming very choppy and people are anxious. They're anticipating, they're waiting, they're calculating, they're trying to figure out where this is going to land. And therefore, you see a lot of these speculators. When I say speculators, even sellers could be speculators and they could make this market great because they list the property at a ludicrous price and they're just sitting there and they throw off everyone else. And this is how the market becomes choppy, uneven, and unpredictable. So I hope you gain some value out of this video. So please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.